to Breathe by Ashley Neese. Read by Book Dragon. Part 5. Notes. Take your time with this practice. There is no need to rush. Begin with 5 minutes and work your way up to 10. If you're new to breathwork and it feels scary, that's okay. Start with just a minute or two. If you feel your temperature rise or the sensation of feeling heavier in your body, this is normal and a sign that you are becoming more grounded. This is a great practice to do in the morning to start your day. It can be done alone or as the beginning to a longer practice session, which is how I often recommend it to clients after they have practiced it by itself for a couple of weeks. No need to practice longer than 10 minutes. The grounding breath can also be done at your desk, at work for a needed break to plug in to yourself, or at the end of the day as a way to reset and transition to the evening. Intimacy. One of the most intimate acts of connection we can practice is breathing with our partners. When we show up fully and sit with each other in our realness, we create a container of safety and love which allows us to become vulnerable. Over the years, I have had the honor of working with many couples in my practice. What I often see at the beginning is a lack of connection around intimacy. They might be exceptional communicators, highly successful in business, great friends, amazing parents, or brilliant creatives, but something feels off to them in their connection. I created the intimacy breath as a first step to support these couples in building connection with each other. Intimacy is a byproduct of vulnerability, and vulnerability is the foundation for a safe, loving, and meaningful relationship. By setting the content of their relationship aside and using the breath as their guide, I have seen couples reignite their passion, joy, and tenderness for each other in just a few practice sessions. As I discuss in the section entitled Breath, the Foundational Tool, our breath is linked to our emotions. When couples practice the intimacy breath, often what surfaces is a series of revelations about the behaviors, beliefs, and family of origin experiences that are impacting their present relationship. These awakenings lead them to deeper inquiry about their personal growth, allowing them to see their next step that they need to take as individuals and as couples to cultivate the connection that they are seeking. The intimacy breath is an updated version of an ancient eye-gazing practice I learned years ago in a yoga teacher training. I took the eye-gazing practice and added a touch and synchronized breath to bring this practice out of the mental realm and drop it fully into the body. Non-sexual touch is a key component of building intimacy and is a potent spiritual tool for holding witness space for each other. Often the couples I see are so caught up in their stories and worried that they don't spend much time together, fully embodied. The intimacy breath is a gentle yet powerful way for couples to come into connection with each other. Intimacy. Sitting up with a partner, 8 minutes. The practice. Find a comfortable seat facing your partner. Breathe in and out through the nose for a minute to settle in. Set your practice intentions. To begin, take your left hand and place it on your partner's heart, resting your right hand on your thigh, palm facing up. Have your partner copy you. Adjust your positions as needed. Continue breathing in and out through your noses. Keep your eyes open and gaze into each other's left eyes while breathing. Slowly, without talking, begin to synchronize your breath. Do not rush this process. Let it evolve naturally. Continue breathing together, gazing and holding your hands on each other's hearts for 5 minutes. Release your left hands and allow your breath to flow naturally. Rest for a few minutes, continuing with your gaze. Journal, and then spend a few minutes discussing what came up for each of you, and close your practice with a hug. Notes. If your left arm gets tired during the practice, let it rest with your palm facing up on your left thigh. If you can only hold your left arm up for a few minutes, that is great. Over time, it will become stronger and be able to hold that position for longer. Getting a few minutes of touch in the beginning of the practice is how you get your bodies to tune into each other quickly, and this allows for the breath to synchronize efficiently. Practicing the intimacy breath often brings up emotions that are stored in the body, and the practice can feel quite vulnerable. You might experience a range of emotions, and that is okay. It's not unheard of to let out tears or laughter during this practice. It's also normal to feel scattered as you begin to regulate with your partner and slow things down. I suggest practicing the intimacy breath 3 to 4 times each week for 2 months, and then 1 to 2 times after that to stay connected. My clients enjoy this practice after a long day of work as a way to sync up with each other before starting their evenings. On mornings when they can stay in bed a little longer before a difficult conversation, when they're navigating tough experiences, or anytime they feel their relationships needs a little connection boost. Intuition. Getting in tune with our life force via the breath is a powerful way to tap into our inner wisdom. Intuition comes through the strongest and is most accurate when we are embodied. It's hard to access your gut feelings when you're someplace other than your body. The key with intuition breath is to develop a baseline of presence so that when you're out in the world, it's easier to stay grounded, clear, and open to receiving whatever information wants to be shared with you. Intuition gives us the ability to know something without analytical reasoning. It is often described as feeling a sixth sense, or that subtle knowing that you can't quite put your finger on. The intuitive channel is a potent source of creativity and information. Cultivating a relationship with your intuition offers an invaluable guidance system that supports you in all areas of your life. Everyone has the potential to be intuitive. It's part of our biological makeup. While many people are quick to dismiss their intuition because it can seem irrational, this leads to an underdeveloped intuition and cuts off access to a very important function of our brain. Intuitive information can seem illogical because intuition operates from our right brain and by other parts of our brain that have been around since prehistoric times, known as the limbic and reptilian systems. Our slower and more analytical left brain, home to the neocortex, is where most people spend their time, which is why it can feel foreign to trust the quick instincts that are associated with intuition. Most breathwork practices can support intuition development if they are grounded in being in your body. With practice and presence, you can develop your intuitive skills, which can serve as a creative and practical way to learn about yourself, make decisions, and dive deeper into your creativity and self expression. The intuitive breath is slow and steady, like many practices in this book. It's meant to ultimately follow the inherent wisdom of your body, which is the key piece in honing your intuitive abilities. Intuitive hits can come through in sounds, images, and physical sensations. In order to have access to this information, we have to be in our instinctual right brain, not meandering around on the left side. Intuition. Lying down 10 to 15 minutes. The practice. Get into a comfortable position lying down. Set your practice intention. Begin breathing in and out through your nose for a minute to settle in. When you're ready, inhale slowly through your mouth. Exhale gently through your mouth. Take your time to find a steady flow and cycle with each round of breath. Repeat in this way for at least 10 minutes. When you are ready to finish, breathe in and out through your nose for a couple of minutes to integrate the work. Close your practice. Journal. Notes. The intuitive breath is the only practice in this book that uses an open mouth, inhale, and exhale. This style of breathing is very opening for the energetic body, putting us in contact with our inner wisdom. It can feel strange in the beginning, and you might feel a little lightheaded. If you do, slow the breath down more. If that doesn't help, switch to breathing in and out through your nose for a little while, and then go back to open mouth breathing when you feel ready. I suggest practicing the intuitive breath for at least 10 minutes to receive the benefits. It can take a few minutes for your body to get used to it and find your steady rhythm. You want to have as much time in the flow of the practice as possible. When you are more familiar with it, you're welcome to breathe for longer, up to 25 minutes. The key with intuition is to trust what comes up and not try too hard to figure it out. If learning to use your intuition as a guide for your life is a new practice, I encourage you to experiment and have fun. Be sure to take notes on what information comes through during your breath sessions. And if you want to take it a step further throughout your day as well. The intuitive breath is designed to help you access your inner wisdom on and off the mat, so to speak. The goal is to build your intuitive muscle so that you have a deeper connection to yourself, your purpose, and the guiding forces that are here to support you along the way. Joy. Stress is becoming a public health crisis. Millennials are currently the most stressed out generation, according to the American Psychological Association's 2017 Stress in America snapshot. The rise in stress is accompanied by stress-related symptoms and poor health and wellness. Over the years, I found that a good remedy to help our bodies and minds manage the increasing demands on our day-to-day lives is the practice of joy. It can sound strange to cultivate joy in a culture where more than half of Americans report being unhappy in some aspects of their lives. Focusing on happiness is futile because it's a fleeting emotion that is often based on something outside of ourselves. Joy, on the other hand, doesn't depend on outside circumstances or events. Joy is an attitude of the heart, and it is found within each of us if we are willing to show up and cultivate it. When I began my breathwork practice, I recognized I needed to shift my relationship to stress. I began connecting to my authentic self through slowing down in my work life. It's very difficult to get down that deep when you're super busy. I felt less need to chase momentarily happiness through outside experiences or validation. I was organically drawn to desire joy and see if it was possible to make it a more regular state of being. I wondered if it was possible to cultivate joy from the inside out. This personal inquiry led me to develop the joy breath practice as a way to train myself to be more joyful. I took my cues from the laughter yoga community and created a playful practice that can be done anytime you need a mood shift or want to spend time practicing joy on your own. In addition to breathing, I use laughter in the joy breath because it's an excellent way to create good sensations in the body, which in turn create positive thoughts in the mind. An interesting scientific fact is that the body cannot differentiate between fake and real laughter. You get the same endorphin release and positive neurotransmitters that stimulate our brains, nervous systems, and immune systems, no matter why you are laughing or how you started. I've used several variations of the joy breath with clients who at first are hesitant because it's a little strange. Afterward, they end up really liking the practice and are often surprised by how much space it opens up for joy in other areas of their life. At its core, the joy breath is about being present, and as we become more present, it is easier to access joy and experience it for longer stretches of time. Joy. Standing up, 3 minutes. The practice. Stand up tall with your feet hip distance apart. Put a slight bend in your knees and let your arms rest at your sides. Set your practice intention. Take a few cycles of breath through the nose to settle in. Next, inhale deeply while raising your arms up towards the sky. Hold your breath for a couple of seconds. Release your arms down by your sides as you laugh out loud. Repeat this 10 times, being sure to breathe and laugh as deeply as possible. Rest for a few moments and notice how you feel. Close your practice and journal. Notes. The joy breath is an invitation to switch your body and brain chemistry, thus changing the way you feel from the inside out. This is a great practice to do anytime you want to shift your state, uplift yourself, and take care of yourself in a fun and unconventional way. Though it might feel awkward at first, the joy breath is excellent to practice with friends, family members, and kids. With just a few seconds of deep belly laughs, you experience just how contagious joy really is, and how easy it is to cultivate with intention and willingness. This practice is meant to serve as an entryway to connecting with joy. Feel free to lengthen the times of your practice as you see fit, or add some organic, gentle movement into it. You really can't go wrong if you follow the flow of your body, breath, and of course, laughter. Letting go. One of the biggest questions I hear with new clients is, how can I let go? Instinctually, they know they are hanging on to too much and are at a loss for how to release the energetic buildup. As you have been learning, freely moving breath in the body is a key sign of health and wellness, and a marker of our energetic vitality and strength. So often it's the beliefs that don't serve us, the damaging stories we tell over and over, reinforcing those beliefs, and our behavior patterns created as a result of those beliefs that are the root cause of many of our emotional, mental, and physical issues. One of my favorite sayings from Al-Anon is, let go or be dragged. The reality is that most of us aren't willing to let go until we absolutely have to. We understand that we need to drop our baggage and live lighter. But just how we do that, the concept of letting go is elusive at best, and is tossed around so freely in the wellness community without any tangible way of practicing. The letting go breath was created as an antidote to all the spiritual jargon around letting go. It's a practice that you can do no matter where you are on the letting go spectrum. The letting go breath is a great way to receive support from your life force so that you have more freedom and spaciousness in your body, heart, and mind. When we are able to let go with our breath and bodies, it breaks down the constructs in our mind that keep us bound to beliefs that are restrictive and draining. While I would love to report that I haven't been dragged since hearing those words over a decade ago, the truth is I have. But it happens much less frequently, and my belief system has been slowly reorganizing itself and evolving with practice and patience. Letting go. Standing up, 3 minutes. The practice. Stand up tall with your feet hip distance apart. Put a slight bend in your knees and let your arms rest at your sides. Set your practice intention. Take a few cycles of breath through the nose to settle in. Inhale deeply while raising your arms towards the sky. Hinge at your hips and release your arms down to the ground, bending your knees as you exhale a giant sigh through your open mouth. Repeat this 10 times, being sure to inhale and sigh as deeply as possible. Rest for a few minutes and notice how you feel. Close your practice and journal. Notes. The combination of movement and breath is a wonderful way to bring your body on board for the practice of letting go. Being able to sync your breath with the movement of this practice brings your heart and mind into alignment while giving you the spaciousness to release what is no longer necessary. Letting go is a process, and it takes time. When you set your practice intention, keep it simple and in current time. Don't expect a belief that was established in childhood to suddenly be gone after 10 breaths. It's important to be realistic about this practice and also stick with issues that you are facing in the current moment. Perhaps how a particular belief is manifesting in the present. The letting go breath is my go-to practice between clients to shift my energy, release anything that might be lingering from the session, and reorient me into the present moment. It's also a wonderful practice to do at the end of the day to leave the day's activities and events behind you. Think of the letting go breath as an opportunity to have a clean slate and a fresh start. Negative thinking. The old adage goes, you can't fix a problem using the thing that caused it in the first place. Never has this truism applied more than it does to negative thinking. If the mind is on a negative thought spiral, then the mind is not the most effective tool to shift through that thought pattern. The breath is. This breath work practice was developed for anyone who is caught in a mental loop. And let's face it, most of the loops we get stuck in aren't very positive. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to focus on what isn't going right or well? Most of us, if given 20 compliments and one criticism, spend most of our energy concentrating on the latter. This isn't because there is something wrong with us or that we haven't done enough work on ourselves. This attention to negativity is part of our brain's hardware. It's one of the reasons humans have survived as long as we have. However, this hardware is in need of an upgrade, and the breath can help us get there. As we are learning from our current research, changing our breath patterns is a very effective way to change our mental and emotional states. The negative thinking practice is a way to break the negative cycle. Over time, this can become a key tool in your self-care kit, putting that giant computer inside your head to better use. Negative thinking. Standing up 3 minutes. The practice. Set your practice intention. Take 3 small consecutive breaths through your nose. Exhale through the mouth in the same manner. Repeat this for 2 minutes. Take a full minute to rest and observe any changes. Close your practice and journal. Notes. If you feel lightheaded during this practice, try it seated until you are more accustomed to taking in more oxygen or exhale through the nose instead of the mouth. Breathing through the mouth in this practice helps to clear energy more quickly than an exhale through the nose. This can be a faster way to change our state and, in the case of a negative thought loop, can be very supportive for making that change happen quickly. If you are still struggling with the negative thought loop afterwards, and don't worry if you are, sometimes those loops have a seriously strong hold, especially if they stem from childhood. This practice is great to do in tandem with the gratitude breath. Begin with the negative thinking breath and then flow into the gratitude breath. This is a potent combination for shifting the pattern and finding relief. Open heart. Psychologically, our hearts pump blood through our circulatory system. Energetically, the heart is considered the seat of compassion, love, and wisdom. Research from the Heart Math Institute has shown that cultivating a heart-focused practice, directing your attention to your heart, can significantly influence your awareness, creativity, emotional intelligence, and ability to self-regulate. When our heart is open energetically, it is easy to connect with people, have a deep, compassionate, knowing, and freely access our innate wisdom. When our heart is closed, we usually feel cut off from others, sad, withdrawn, and have a difficult time hearing our intuitive voice. The open heart breath is an invitation to take a moment to access what is happening in your heart and set aside time to invite in love and softness. This practice is very subtle because it invites you to listen to your heart in a new way. In order to hear what your heart has to say, your nervous system needs to be settled. This will give you direct access to your heart's wisdom.